What do you do now when you're looking in the mirror and you're having to face an aging process? A process that you've allowed to shatter your identity. It's a race to the best hyaluronic acid for your skin, collagen, Botox, and even plans to secure funds for plastic surgery. When I was a child, I had been molested at the age of 2.5. The situation went on for several years, tapered off and picked up later on, subconsciously. What happened is I had equated physical appeal to love and full acceptance. This was the stage that was set for me, and it's very possible that this was set for you. To compound it are matters living in Western society. We've given too much ear to corporations that are simply after the wallet. Not so much your looks, but they've manipulated the emotions of people. That you're never going to achieve the plateau. It's never going to be enough. And the whole purpose behind that is to obtain their wealth. It's saturated in advertising. You see it just standing in the lines of grocery stores. You see it in Hollywood's women who've been made to feel that unless they maintain a look that they had between their 20s and 30s in filming, they would lose their status otherwise. Listen, when we allow change on the outside to shatter our own identity, we have to consider something hardly mentioned. There is not one person out there who is created in perfection. Every single person has flaws. Every single person was created in a unique way that even as laugh lines around the eyes begin to show, if we can learn to embrace our unique qualities and not fall for the lie of common image we have in our head or maintain the age we feel we looked our best, hell-bent on trying to recapture that at all cost, or else we're going to deflate entirely on the inside. There are cases where this turned deadly. Stop what you're doing to yourself. There's a well-known fine actor who has passed on now. His name was John Candy. Truthfully, I would have given anything to have a date with this man. In society's eyes, what we plant on magazine covers, one would say he fell below the false status, yet there was a charisma and attractiveness about him that took him to the pinnacle. And truly, I would have given anything to meet him. He stood out in the crowd. He stood out by his uniqueness. He allowed his 5-star qualities to be on display. He could have said, I'm overweight. I could have, or he could have said, I can't maintain the male image of a Paris model, nor do I have the unique or the physique where I could parade on the beach with Hollywood women. And all Hollywood's rules are just too obtainable to reach when it comes to what they want. He didn't allow any of that to stand in his way. And I thank God that he didn't, because in my time on this earth, I got to value his tenacity. I got to embrace the attraction in the human spirit about him. I'm telling you, many of those common male images couldn't tie the shoes of John Candy, and that's a fact. There's something so eccentric about the people who allow their full identity to come through. They're not just another superficial image, you see. They're not a familiar byproduct of a surgery from the same plastic surgeon, or even all the physiques of these women, they look the same. It's boring. There's an invisible sign around their neck screaming to be free beneath the fake smiles. They become the familiar because people have trampled on their own identity and they folded to the common thread. If you don't get this through your head, you're going to collapse from within on a dangerous line. You're going to fall for the trick, like many, especially here in the United States. Begin to embrace the fact that there is not any other person out there that has your uniqueness, the quality of everything within your person your personhood. You're not going to find your own equal. And what a privilege to put yourself on display. Your personality, your humor, everything. You are your own showcase. People would say, I wish I could have that degree of confidence. You know, I remember a while back, there was an actress and she showed up at one of those events, and you couldn't dismiss the tattoo on her inner forearm of Marilyn Monroe. She totally hijacked her identity. Why? Because people have gotten hoodwinked on the physical, the outward, and shut down everything else about their personhood while entering into this dark tunnel, so to speak. You've allowed yourself to become a Lego piece in a box, totally wiping out your complete identity, snuffing out a light that comes from within. You know, many have heard of Karen Carpenter. There was no other voice before or after. But she was raised in a home where she was not appreciated as much as her brother. He reveals this later on, by the way. What then took place was this article that came out. And in that article, somebody referred to her as Richard's chubby sister, because she had wrapped her identity around what her mother embedded in her. She was already less than within herself. And now all the devil seemed to need was something like an article. The simplicity of the words in an article to challenge what was left of her. This was serious because she became anorexic, vomiting to suppositories, to whatever it took her or caused her to become extremely thin, with a false image of acceptance in her own eyes. We watched Princess Diana go through the same thing. These people with so much to offer collapsed from within because they entered into that dark tunnel of allowing the destruction of their identity to become sabotaged in their own minds. They could never measure up, no matter what. Unfortunately for Karen Carpenter, it took her out. She was in her early 30s when she died, because the human body couldn't contain what she was doing to it anymore. She believed the lie. And we lost one of the most beautiful voices in history. We lost her charisma. We lost her personhood. When you looked at her, you simply said, that is Karen Carpenter. I actually cried that day when I found out. And as years passed, her brother, Richard, revealed more of what had happened to her growing up. For those of us who have been in a situation where the odds are already stacked against us at young ages, we have a little more challenge to overcome, but you can achieve it. If you're with somebody in your life who has placed so much emphasis on your physical being you call love, while watching his fleshly appreciation for others that you have to constantly check your makeup, you better let him go. Pack his superficial bags and get rid of him, because I'm telling you right now, when the aging process begins, you're not going to know what to do with yourself. You're going to fall into the trap like many others, and on a hellish manhunt to start doing everything you can to fight, to achieve what false physical identity offers and cave in from within. You have to see the lie. You have to understand the lie. You have to understand the full picture of society's deception, and then push back and to embrace your confidence within your entire personhood. We have the name of our web on the bottom of the screen, Bioenergetic Health. It's something you want to take a look at. This is where quantum physics meets your innate intelligence. It helps get to the root of your health issues. The purpose of these videos is to help you embrace your entire person. It's about your mental health, your spiritual health, your physical well-being, mind, soul, and body. That's how we're created. You can't just address one without the other. It's all intertwined. See if this is something that suits you, or if you know somebody that needs this, and send it to them. But most importantly, listen to this audio again if you need to. Try to take some of the good seeds. Let them take root. Remove the old patterns of negative self-talk from your mind. Replace the old with the new. Simple baby steps on a daily basis. And when you look in the mirror every day and you don't see the perfection of what you brutally lied to yourself about, embrace the character of those like John Candy and how they shined like there was no tomorrow. That can be you. Who knows? Maybe you'll become famous as you finally crawl out of that dark shell of self-destruction. Be happy again. Every day, choose to celebrate that there is no equal next to you, because it's true. Until we meet again.